Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm just gonna sort of be talking about my autumn, fall, spooky season reading plans and what I've been reading up till now, because it's almost the end of October, so spooky season is well underway, and I never made a video kind of about what my plans were, so I just decided to go ahead and share with you the stuff that I've been reading, the stuff that I hope to get to in the next month. I still kind of consider November kind of, you know, spooky, cozy, creepy book season, so I'm just going to go ahead and kind of go through. I've read a couple books already that are very much in the spirit of Halloween and spooky season, and then I'll just go ahead and list the other books that I'm thinking I'm going to get to, you know, in the next month or so. So the first book that I decided to read at the very start of October was The Lost Causes of Bleak Creek by Neal and Rhett McLaughlin. So if you are a fan of Good Mythical Morning, then you know about Rhett and Link. They have been around for a long time on the internet. This is their first novel. They did make another book that's kind of like a coffee table book called The Book of Mythicality, which I also have, but have not actually read because it's kind of coffee table book style, but this is an actual novel. So this is like a horror novel. It's kind of like it's a young adult, not quite middle grade, but anyway, I'll get to that. So basically, the plot of this is that you're following two characters that are based very strongly off of Rhett and Link, and their names are Rex and, well, Leaf or Leif. And these two boys are from this small southern town called Bleak Creek, and there is this kind of reform school in their town that popped up several years ago, and it's basically a place that parents threaten to send their kids if they're not good, and weird stuff seems to happen at that place. There have been several deaths of students at this school, the Whitewood School, and basically their friend, Alicia, she gets sent there kind of as a mistake, or not quite as a mistake, but as a result of some shenanigans that Rex and Leif get up to with Alicia. She gets sent to the school, and they have to kind of find a way to rescue her and figure out, you know, the mysteries behind the Whitewood School and what's going on in this town. The people of the town seem unwilling to talk about the school. They don't want to, you know, shed any bad light on it, and there's just some weird things going on. And a young film student comes to the school, or comes to the town, and sort of starts digging around in what's going on. She goes there for originally to make a documentary about like kidney stones. Like the whole town, like they have all the residents, so many of the residents have like a bunch of kidney stones, and she comes like to make a documentary about it. You know, she's sort of like down on her luck as this filmmaker, and she stumbles across, you know, this Whitewood School and all of this weird stuff going on. So she kind of works with Rex and Leif to try and figure out what's going on. So this was fun. It was a quick read. I gave it 3 out of 5 stars. Like, I'm wanting to say that the audience for this book is young teen, preteen kids around that age. There is a lot of strong language though. Like, I think there are a couple F-bombs and maybe some other cursing too. So yeah, I think if you like Rhett and Link and like Good Mythical Morning, you'll particularly like this. If you don't know who they are, I think that you could still enjoy it. Like, it's not the best book ever, but it was still enjoyable, and I think, you know, for a first novel, I thought it was just fine. Kind of a fun, supernatural, kind of spooky read. Not too spooky though, so, you know, it's not too scary, but yeah. Then I read a book that is very popular, very well known, and that is Dark Matter by Blake Crouch. This was my pick for a local book club that I'm in. I wanted to pick something that was kind of appropriate for spooky season, so it's a thriller, kind of like a sci-fi thriller. And I didn't know too much about this going in, and I think that I want to keep it that way for anyone who hasn't heard of this or hasn't read it yet. I think you want to go in not knowing too much, but basically you're following this guy named Jason who one day he gets kidnapped and wakes up, and suddenly his life is not his own life anymore, basically. And I don't want to say anything else because this book is quite the brain bender. Once it gets going real fast, it doesn't take long to get into it, and it just keeps going and snowballing, and things get crazier and crazier. And it was really good. I really enjoyed it. Give it 4 out of 5 stars. Yeah, I'd say go into it not knowing much more than that. It's a really quick read, less than 350 pages. You'll fly through it in days, even if you're not a fast reader. It's really quick and easy to go through. His writing style is a bit, he likes to write like 1-sentence paragraphs, a lot of like 1-sentence, few word paragraphs. So like, it's a little bit hiccupy because you're just having to read each individual line as it comes. So that's kind of a particularity of his writing style. But yeah, 4 out of 5 stars. I really enjoyed this, and yeah, check it out. And then we come to the book that I am currently reading, trying to sneak this in before October actually ends. This is definitely the spookiest of these books so far, and that is For Vanishing by Kate Alice Marshall. And I am almost done with this book. You can see my bookmark there. This was recommended, I think, from Erica from Aura Books. I think she hauled it or something like that, or it was a book that she wanted to read. I'm loving this. Like, I think this is going to be a 5-star read. We'll see what happens at the end. Maybe if I don't like the ending, it'll knock it down to a 4. It's at least a 4-star. Like, no matter how the ending is, at least 4 stars. Very spooky, very creepy. So you're following this girl named Sarah, who her sister disappeared like a year before, I think, something like that. And she disappeared supposedly down the road of Lucy Gallows. There's this story in Briar Glen, I think is the name of the city, the town. And there's this tale of Lucy Gallows, where if you follow certain steps and do certain things, the road will appear, and Lucy is, waiting for you at the end, and, you go down the road, and will you come back? That sort of thing. But Sarah's sister, Becca, disappeared, and Sarah believes that she found the road and that she is stuck there. So she goes with a bunch of her friends, a group of her friends, down the road. And it's the story of, what happens on the road and, what's waiting at the end and all that stuff. And it's told in a kind of found footage / mixed media sort of way. So there's the main story takes place as a written testimony, basically, from Sarah of what happened, and it also cuts to video clips, sound clips, articles, stuff like that. So I didn't know that going in, so that was kind of fun. It kind of keeps things interesting and dynamic by changing points of view and who's talking and who the subject is. So I think this is great. It's it's supernatural spookiness, so it's just classic in my mind, just classic horror, just spooky, scary skeletons, and I'm loving it. Like, thank you, Erica, for talking about this book, because I'm loving it so far. Hello, Editing Sarah here. So I realized that I forgot to talk about, of course, my all-important buddy read that I'm reading with Erica from Aura Books, which is The Way of Kings by Brandon Sanderson. We've kind of split it up into like 100-page chunks-ish. So we started it like early in October, so we should probably finish it like sometime in November. So yep, I'm kind of in the middle of that right now. I forgot to mention it. I keep forgetting to mention the buddy reads, but yes, well, we are reading that book, and it's really good so far. It feels like a lot of setup so far. It's really interesting, really cool world building, and you're getting to know all of these characters and their situation. Yeah, so it's like a lot has happened, but it feels like a lot of setup getting us ready for, the classic Brandon Sanderson grand finale. So I'm really excited to see where this goes, and I'm definitely enjoying it so far. So that covers all of the books that I have read basically since October or am currently reading. And then I have about 1 month left of what I consider to be kind of spooky fall season before it transitions into December. So these are the books that I think I might get to. I am a mood reader, so I don't like making TBRs because I never know if I'm actually gonna feel like reading something. So when I finish a book, I just take some time and see, okay, what do I have to read? What do I feel like reading? And I do that. But spooky season, there are, of course, certain books that fit the vibe of the season. So the other books that I think I might get to are No Exit by Taylor Adams, and Erica suggested No Exit. She loved it. It's a thriller where this girl is traveling. She's like in the middle of a snowstorm or something, and she stops at like a gas station rest stop to fill up or just to take a break from driving, something like that. And she, on her way inside, she sees this young girl or like this young child in a cage in the back of someone's car or someone's van, and someone in this gas station rest stop owns that vehicle, and she has to like figure out how to save this child and not die or something like that. So that just sounded really interesting and cool. So that's another one that I think I might get to next month. And then we have the infamous Wilder Girls by Rory Power. So all I really know about this is I think it made a big splash. Maybe it was it this summer that it came out, or just that it made people were talking about it everywhere. And it's basically like, it's a bunch of young girls or something who are like infected with some sort of virus or something, some sort of infection that's taken over the world or something. And I just know that it's like mutated their bodies in some way. So it's like a body horror kind of thing. And I find body horror very scary and creepy. So I am both nervous and excited to read this because it will very much creep me out. But other than that, I haven't really looked into this, so I don't really know what it's about past the fact that I don't know if it's post-apocalyptic or not, but yeah, some virus has broken out and these girls are like quarantined and there's some weird body horror going on. So this, I think definitely I hope to get to this year. And the final book that I think I will get to for sure, is The Witch's Kind by Louisa Morgan. This is a local book club pick for the book club that I'm in for the month of November. So I will definitely be reading this. And I don't know if it's necessarily spooky at all. I know it's called The Witch's Kind, so I kind of thought that it was going to be, witchy, occulty. But it sounds like from what I've heard, it's not quite like that, but it takes place in the Pacific Northwest, where I am, at the end of World War II, and it's like these two family members, like an aunt and the niece. They live in this small town, and so it seems like they might have some sort of powers. I'm not sure if they're real powers or if they're more just, kind of Wicca-like, pagan-like, but it sounds like, from reading the back, because I don't actually really know much about this, it looks like there's the arrival of this abandoned child who seems to have similar abilities to their own, and then the reappearance of the aunt, her husband, who I don't know if he fought in the war or what, but her husband reappears, and he's not the person that she thought he was, something like that. And it's kind of a family story, I think, between women, maybe witchy women, I would presume. But yeah, that's kind of all I know about this. But yeah, so she's the author that wrote A Secret History of Witches, which I feel like is pretty maybe well known. I see it like every time I go to a thrift store, I always see a copy of it. So yeah, I've never read A Secret History of Witches, but I do own it because I finally picked it up from a thrift store because my friend picked this for the month of November, and I decided, well, hey, I'm gonna get the other book as well. So yeah, this is the other book that I am for sure gonna read because it's my local book club pick for the month. So those are the kind of spooky autumnal October spoopy books that I have read so far and that I plan to read. Yeah, I kind of wish I had made a video at the start of the month or before October started so that it would just kind of make more sense, but whatever. I did it. So yeah, those are all the books that I've read and I hope to read. If you read any of them, let me know your thoughts. Yeah, I love the fall. You know, my birthday is September 27th, so right at the start of fall. Love the changing of the leaves and everything. So yeah, it's been good reading month so far. I've never necessarily made a point of reading horror books before book 2, but I'm really liking it. It's really fun. It's so easy to pick books to read for spooky season. So yeah, if you have any other suggestions for good, you know, horror thriller books, in particular, I like supernatural horror, that kind of stuff. So if you have any good ones to recommend, please let me know. But otherwise, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in my next one. Bye.